Welcome, everybody. I'm Jeff Brace of the Vintage Computer Federation, and I am the showrunner for VCF East. I'm also the vice president of Vintage Computer Federation. Today, we have the showrunners for VCF SoCal, that's Southern California. We have Micki and Steve Dieterich. Did I say that correctly?
Close, Dieterich.
Yeah.
Dieterich. All right.
We still answer.
The showrunners for VCF SoCal.
Well, let's be clear. Micki is actually the showrunner. I'm just the man of many hats running around.
Oh, good. All right. So then Micki is the showrunner. And as far as I know, and Eric, you can tell me if you know, she's the first woman showrunner for any vintage computer festival of that name. I mean, there may be other shows outside of it, but as far as I know, she's the first one.
Yep, that's the best of my knowledge too.
So we have the show coming up. So let me share the website. So when is the show? The show is on February 17th and 18th, and it's going to be at Hotel Farrah in Orange, California. So how far away is that from LA, for example? I guess it depends on traffic, right?
Yeah, it depends on traffic. It's about an hour from LA. But we do have a close airport. John Wayne Airport is only a 15 or 20-minute drive. And then I want to note about the date. That is President's Day weekend, so you get an extra day for travel. You get a holiday on Monday.
Yeah, so that's good for a lot of people.
Yeah, that'll help with LA traffic as well, because it's about an hour under normal circumstances, but regular traffic during rush hour, it's about a week and a half.
Yes.
Yeah. Measured in time. I keep telling people I'm a Northeast boy from upstate New York, and I'm used to like, hey, that's only 8 miles away, or that's 12 miles away. That doesn't work here. It's like, hey, that's an hour and a half. Isn't it just 2 miles? Yeah, it's an hour and a half.
You go by bike faster than you could by car. All right, so this is your first show there. I had met you at VCF Southwest, and you're like, hey, can we start a show? And so we talked with the VCF board, and it's like, here, this is what you can do. And so you've been running the events. We've just been helping you with social media and other things, but Micki and you have been running it, organizing it by yourself. So it's been great, and we're happy to have that. And even though we have VCF West in August, and that's in Central California, it's more than enough to have one in Southern California because, first of all, it's in February, so that's a good time of year, especially for those in the Northeast who have the cold weather. And also, it's far enough away that's, you have a different population coming to that event.
Yeah. California is a long, tall state.
Yes.
So I think we're about 7 or 8 hours away from VCF West, and 6 months apart. So it seemed like a pretty good mix on that.
Yeah,
I mean, closer to 5 the way I drive.
Nice.
So, to potentially, if someone wanted to do one in Northern California, that could be something. But for now, it's great to have this, you guys doing this. So let's look at the exhibitors. So we have Sean of Action Retro.
Yes.
Totally Normal Computing. I think he did something like that at VCF East. As a showrunner, I don't really get to enjoy the exhibits too much. So I couldn't tell you much about the exhibit. But he always does a good exhibit there. So
I'm sure there'll be a Macintosh involved.
So this says sponsor exhibit. What does that mean when it says sponsor exhibit?
Well, on the I'm handling exhibitors, vendors, and sponsors, and on the main page you'll see where we have the list of our sponsors who very nicely help support the show. But they also have exhibits, so I wanted them on the exhibitors page and tag them as a sponsor exhibit. So maybe I should change the wording because it sounds like it's a sponsored exhibit, perhaps. But it's an exhibit done by one of our sponsors.
Oh, okay. I see. That's all right. That makes sense. All right. So let me actually go back to the home. So sponsors. So that's something that we want to get involved with. I know Southwest does this, but at West and East, we want to try to get into this. So you have Southern
Amos.
Southern Amos. Oh, interesting. Atari BBS history. Interesting. So, and then Vintnerd. And what is this one here? This
Action Retro.
oh, I didn't recognize his logo. He's gonna slap me for that. PCB Way. So this is good. So you actually went to some other like not businesses. PCB Way. That's not like a vintage computer one. That's just like a general business.
Well, you know, PCB Way, where a lot of makers are getting their boards made for FujiNets and things like that.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Right.
so they're sending us a whole bunch of physical coupons to hand out at registration for people who want to try their service and save some money. So that worked out nice.
Yeah, Aquarius Plus. I know at West there was a guy talking about Aquarius. That's
Sean Harrington.
yes.
Old World Computing. That is Kyle from VCF Southwest.
Oh,
And then I want to mention the two above. So Atari Projects is Jason Moore, who has the book and the website about a project a day for your Atari. And then Pathways to Invention is another co-organizer of ours who did a documentary on inventors and bringing out the inventor in everybody. And it fits really nicely with all of the makers and folks that are, working on vintage computers.
wow. Yeah, very cool. So did you go to them or did they come to you to be sponsors? How did that work?
It was a little bit of both.
Yeah, we've been putting the word out there. We, of course, still have room for more sponsors. If you want your company up on here, we'd like to keep it more computer related, maybe a little bit gaming, it's not, tech, old tech. But, we'll get you up on there. We still have for the t-shirt, some of the top sponsors will be on the t-shirt, but the t-shirt needs to be done in like a week and a half,
Something
right?
like that. Yeah, we got.
So there's about a week and a half cut off if you want to get your sponsor logo on the t-shirt.
Yes.
And I was just going to ask about that. You're going to put the logos on the t-shirt, but do you have a t-shirt design yet? Because the attendees are usually excited about that.
Yeah, we have a t-shirt design. I'm not ready to share just yet, but we'll unveil it soon enough.
Yeah,
very cool.
And it looks like people can donate their just cash donations if they wanted to contribute to the show.
Yes,
$50, $100.
Yes. We are not a nonprofit. We are a regular commercial business. That's how we set this up. We didn't think we could do a nonprofit organization quick enough in order to have the show in time. So people can gift us money. They can't, it's not a donation to a nonprofit. They can't write it off. But if they want to help make sure that the show goes as best as it can, and at this point, the show's on, we're doing it. It's just, if we get more sponsors and more help, we can have more fun. So, but yeah, that's great. We've had people gift us money from the bottom buttons, and it's been very nice of them.
So the exhibitors the exhibitor sign up, is that still active or is that the deadline? Okay. Is there a deadline?
Maybe a week or so before.
We'll see that last week, because obviously, as you guys know, running shows, we have to lay out the floor plan and put things where we can fit them, but we do still have space. The nice thing about this venue is we've got some options. Where are we going to put consignment? What are we going to do in the foyer? There's some extra rooms if this went crazy in the next couple of weeks.
Right.
We can expand.
We've got overflow. Yeah.
But the main ballroom is 14,000 square feet.
All of the space that we currently contracted is 14,000 square feet.
Yeah. So we've got space if people still want to exhibit. We'd love to have them on board.
Oh, someone asked sorry to interrupt. Someone asked in the live stream comments, how much is for the different sponsorship levels?
So let's do that right here. I have to open up the cheat sheet because there's so much in my head. Well, we still have we don't have a diamond top sponsor yet.
Wow.
That was that's around 6,000, and we're doing a lot of extra things. Each sponsor level, as it goes up, gets more options. We're going to have there's columns on the front part of the building, and we're going to wrap those in banners.
Yeah.
All we can think
Yeah.
is
And I just want to clarify, like, I actually have access to a print shop and I do graphic design on the side. So we have access to some really nice signage options. And so we're going to try and blow it up for that big sponsor.
Platinum sponsors, 2,500, and gold sponsor is 500. And that still gets your logo on the t-shirt. And then below that, we have silver sponsors at 300, where you'll, we'll put you on the website and on a banner behind registration. And we're finding a lot of people are interested in the $300 silver because it gets you a couple tables and a couple passes and gets your logo up there on there. And again, I thank everybody for helping us out with this. So
yeah, we bit off a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
It's working. It's working, but it's been a long 7 months. We eat, sleep, and eat, sleep some more.
Yes, when not
VCF SoCal. Yeah.
When not
well, Eric and I can definitely relate to that as he's the showrunner of VCF West.
Long nights and longer weekends.
Yes. All right, so we got a number of exhibitors here. The Southern Amos projects, Tari bulletin board. That's interesting. I'd be curious to know about that.
Rob Sherman, he's one of our he's a sponsor, he's exhibiting, he's one of our friends, he's one of the organizers here that's helping us get the reach out there. And his mission with Southern Amos is to gather and archive as much bulletin board system, software, hardware, systems, history. So he's going to have a nice display, and anybody who's got old BBS stuff, he's collecting discs and everything on that to archive BBS history.
I actually do discs and tapes.
Nice.
I ran a RBBS PC back in 82, 83 in the New York area, and World War IV board down in Texas.
Huh, cool. Yeah, I used to run a BBS out of my childhood bedroom in my late teenage years. So
you're an exhibit here, but since you're so busy helping the showrunner with the show, the organizing, I guess you don't have a lot of time to really come up with something.
I had a plan. I had a bigger plan. I still want to do at some point. I don't think I can pull it off this year, but I'm probably going to do a light pen exhibit, different retros with different light pens and light guns.
Yeah.
With enough glass CRTs on the table, so that should be pretty fun. I think I grew up with light pens, and even I'm sure you guys, you built one, right? There was instructions how to build your own light pen, and it's just a lost accessory now,
Yeah. I know there was like a light pen for the Vectrex and other computers. It's a definitely interesting thing. So I'd love to see that. All right.
Well, it's so kooky that the Atari 8-bits, they actually coded in the operating system to check on the joystick port for a light pen signal, like all the time. Like every Atari 8-bit you turn on, it's checking something and putting a number and a value somewhere. And for all these decades, and nobody uses the light pen anymore, but they thought it was important enough to incorporate it in there.
Yeah. All right. So we have Levi's Retro Bridge. Interesting. That sounds very interesting. Wow.
And Levi's, of course, an organizer that we're working with and a sponsor, and he has the Pathways to Invention documentary that you saw on the main page there.
Wow. All these people I never heard of. This is great. This is just a side question. How many people are local, like within 5 hours, and how many people are like outside of that area?
Are we talking just the exhibitors?
Or do you mean like demographics?
Yeah, the demographic exhibitors.
I'm gonna have to say definitely 85% are local. We have Jeff Galanta is a vendor from Arizona. He's done Midwest as well.
Mm-hmm.
So he's on board. He'll be bringing all his stuff from Arizona that weekend. So that, I don't know if that's 5 hours to Arizona, is it?
It depends on where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and that's another good thing is that you have other states further south that are closer. Like you can just come over the border there. It's great.
Yeah, it's a quick 3.5 hour trip to Vegas if anybody wants to make it a long weekend.
Yeah, because then you have Nevada too, right? You have Arizona and Nevada that are within a few hours.
Yes, and Tijuana.
I was going to say New and Old Mexico are all relatively close as well.
Yeah,
we'll be doing exhibiting in Mexican computers. Yeah. All right, let's see what else we got. Atari 8-bit art with. So there's a lot of projects that are like with modern stuff connecting to vintage computers. I mean, that seems to be like a lot of things doing that. It's really cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
PCBWay, Aquarius, and Aquarius computers. There you go, Sean Harrington. It's really good. Old World Computing. It comes in colors. What's that one about?
Well, that's Kyle Petrie from the VCF Southwest team in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And this is he says this is a preview of what he's doing later this year in at VCF Southwest.
Mm-hmm.
He's showing, I believe this is the IMAX iBooks.
Yeah, the iMac Rainbows.
Yeah, so he's got all the colors, and then he's going to expand that out further, back in his state where he can bring more. So he's doing a little preview here, and he's a sponsor as well. So very, very nice of Kyle to help us out.
Yeah. All right. Parts of the vendor, Jeff's Electronics. Oh, I know who that guy is. He's a member of our group here on the East Coast for many years, and he moved to Arizona. So he's going to be a vendor there, which is great. And he's also going to come to VCFE. So he's a great guy. He has some good stuff there. I know this guy. So another vendor, computing magazines. Yeah, there seems to be some people that still like putting out magazines, like newer ones. It's very interesting. Macintosh, collectibles, the Cat's Garage. What is that?
Yeah, Jonathan Katz. I just added him on this morning. I've been working with him the last few weeks. If I remember right, and I hope I can say this, his father passed away in recent memory, and has a garage full of stuff he's going through. Like he messaged me earlier today. He said, I just found a pile of Palm Pilots and Apple Newtons. So his dad just collected stuff, or as Jonathan here says, collected or hoarded, but that's his own words there. So he's going to show a lot of it off and put a lot of it in consignment. And even, if he's got something and he's showing off at his table and wants to, if somebody wants it, he'll put it in consignment and they can buy it. So we've got a lot of consignment activity going on. There's going to be a lot of interesting pieces in consignment.
Yeah. So are you going to be doing consignment? Have you decided if you're going to do consignment? And I know we spoke with you about what we've done for West. So you're going to decide on which way you wanted to go with that. Have you decided yet if you're going to do consignment?
We're going to do it. We have not decided on the method just yet.
Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got. See here. You got another exhibit here. Minis and micros. So that's often like a nice thing to have is try to have those more than just micro computers. You try to have mini and mainframes, but sometimes it's very difficult to have that. But he's doing a kit there, some H and everything. It's interesting. All right, video music display. Oh, visualization. Interesting.
Yeah, if you take a look at his YouTube channel, you'll see, I think it's in his garage or whatever storage area he has. And he's got a bunch of CRT TVs and the video music, and he has some fun with it. So he's going to bring that and display it.
Wow, very cool. Gaming group, nice. Do it yourself, then and now. Then-tro and outro.
Yeah,
Like retro, then-tro, now-tro.
you're right.
So how you would do it? I like that. Like a contrast, like how things were back in the day and how things are now. Wi-Fi, yeah, definitely. Like there's like Wi-Fi cartridges, like with FujiNet and some other ones. It's just great to have these modern devices to extend the life of and usefulness of these retro computers.
Yeah, and that group is looking for beta testers. So they're going to collect names of folks that want to be a part of that, or alpha testers, I guess.
Yeah, if you read their text, the device they're bringing is actually just breadboarded. They haven't done boards for it yet, so it's going to be quite fun to stare at it working with all the wires going around.
Here we're developing as we speak during the show.
That's not uncommon at these shows to have folks with soldering irons and oscilloscopes and whatnot set up at the show. So
that's fun.
Right.
Whether they're developing a product or just fixing what they brought, you never know. But
yeah,
it happens.
Tandy's family of color computers, Amiga awesomeness, 10-minute Amiga retrocast. Paul Gray PC Museum. I've never heard of that one.
One of the local colleges has a PC museum within it, and so the executive director is going to come down and showcase some of the things they've got on display there at the museum, and then also do a talk, which she'll be speaking as well.
And again, if I remember correctly, I've had so many people go through my head. Paul Gray was a professor at the school, and I believe he's passed away, and he left all his retro collection to the school. And so they are archiving it and fixing and cleaning things up, and they put them on display.
Like a rotating display, so students in that area can see the different machines.
So which school is this?
Yeah, which one is it?
It's
CGU.
Yeah, it's there's 3 or 4 schools in the area, and I don't want to get it wrong.
Claremont Graduate University.
There we go.
Okay.
And I don't want to abort our continued review of the exhibitors, but you did mention that this is going to be a talk as well. I do want to go over some of the talks that you guys have lined up, because I know that some of those are real exciting.
Yeah,
they're all exciting.
Yeah, but I mean, some to me, all of them are going to be exciting, but each geek has his own preference.
That's true. That's true.
Well, this name seems familiar. Randall King, Floppy Days of Antic Podcast.
Yep.
3D printing. Yeah, but just skim through. So Lunar Lander, I love that game. Early game. FujiNets. Yeah, that's a really cool thing. San Diego Computer Museum. How far is San Diego from the show? The couple
about an hour and a half. Most of the time, sometimes it can be longer. And I think we need to change the name. I don't think David's able to make it. I think we'll just swap the gentleman's name out.
Yeah.
Thomas Cherry Holmes. All right, so those are exhibitors. I just sort of went a quick run through, but yeah, we can go to speakers now, because speakers are always exciting too.
I do want to quickly mention, of course, we are still adding on exhibitors. I'm right now, I've got at least another 6 I'm working with this week to get their paperwork and whatever in order and what they're doing. And then there is room for more exhibitors. And as you went through the list, these are just regular Joes like the rest of us who just love this, and they have some really cool thing they want to share and start conversations with other people who love this stuff. So anybody can exhibit.
Don't be shy.
Yeah, don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
So how much?
Don't be like Eric.
So how many? So I didn't count. How many exhibitors do you have, and how much room? How many more can you accommodate right now?
There's 35 on that list right now, if I'm not mistaken. And they have multiple tables, so I would have to say we've probably filled 60, 70 tables. And if we took that one main room and didn't put consignment in it and relocated consignment, the max, and we would never do it, is 120 tables in our grand ballroom. So we're thinking of having consignment in that room right now maybe taking a third of it. So we got another 20 exhibitors we can fit in the current plan.
Yeah.
And I'd love more exhibitors than that. So I want that. And if that happens, then we'll move consignment out of that room to another room we can rent with the event center.
And by the way, just pointing out, especially that, this far from the show, that's an amazing accomplishment already. I mean, the biggest VCF West we had, which was last year, I think we topped out at just under 90 tables.
Okay.
And 40 some odd exhibitors. So you guys are a Southern rival already. Which is
Well, thank you.
That makes us feel good.
Yeah.
There's a bit of angst in this household right now.
Yeah.
I don't think you've got anything to worry about at this point. First time show with that big a turnout already is awesome. It's going to be exciting.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah. So you think we'll sell more than the 8 tickets we have already?
No. Ticket pre-sales, and this is speaking from West as well. I really wish folks would, plan ahead and book their tickets ahead to give us a better feeling.
A clue, right?
I had so many tickets literally sold in the parking lot. Going onto the app and buying.
We have sold tickets north of 100. We'll say that already. Yeah. So we're pretty sure we're going to have a lot of people.
Well, and we're just going to have a good time. However it turns out, like really, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I've said it before. I was so impressed at the different VCFs that we've been to, with the community and the willingness of people to just share, and nobody's a stranger. And so that's what's going to make this show a success, right? Is just everybody having a good time.
Yeah, and that's what Jeff can second this, but that's always been our philosophy, right? This is community outreach. This is gathering like-minded folks together to talk about stuff that we love.
Right.
The dollars and numbers and stuff behind that are secondary. We want to be able to do it again. We don't want to lose our shirts and not be able to do it going forward because of the value to the community. But we're there for the community, and that's what we want to do.
So that's good verbiage. That's where we're at. The show's happening. Mm-hmm. We just want it to be so good that we can do it again. Yeah. We cover all our bases, and then we can put the deposit down for the next year. So that's where we're at right now, is to get over that hump of just making sure it's a grand success, and we're set hopefully for a few years.
Yeah, from the looks of it, from now, which is more than a month out. There's, you guys are pretty much pot committed for your next month.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, just under 4 weeks out. We're like 3 weeks and 5 days from it.
So you see, so talking about tickets, so you have Saturday, you have a Sunday, and so it's just 2 days, and you have a weekend pass.
Mm-hmm.
And so is there any I guess there's no deadline, because you can always get the tickets at the door, but it's better if you do it ahead of time. Then you can just go ahead.
Easy to check in as well. You've got your ticket, you just show your QR code and
because that Saturday morning we'll have 2 lines. We'll have people that didn't buy ahead, and then we'll have people who bought ahead and have their code to scan, and they'll get in the quickest. But
there we go.
Mention the weekend pass, the special on that.
Oh yeah, we dreamed up a weekend bundle. It comes with a T-shirt and a sticker, and then we're gonna do some fun badge that'll just the weekend. The vintage fan folks will have that badge.
So special vintage fan badge for helping us out with buying that bundle. But the regular weekend pass, the Saturday and Sunday are $25 each. So a weekend would be $50. The weekend pass that's on there right now, we're selling at $40 at a discount. So that price will change. When you come to the door on that weekend, it'll be $50 at the door for that. So people can save 20% on the weekend right now.
Yeah, and I don't know what yours is going to look like. This is from a couple of years ago for West's weekend badge.
Wait, hold on.
Collectible weekend badge.
Nice.
Cool.
Just
we don't know what
out there that might want to be excited about. Huh?
We don't know what it's going to look like either. It's on the to-do list.
Yep.
Yeah, Micki designs these, and then when she gets to it, it's like an hour and a half later. She's like, "Look at my drafts." I'm like, "What? When did you do that?"
Well, I was thinking.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to have that skill because it's like, you know, there's a lot of things that I can do, but there's some things that I can't do. Like I'm not good at drawing, and I never will be. It'll be very crude. So it's nice to have that skill. That's why we have different volunteers. But if it's great if you can do it yourself, because there's always some need for it. We're doing a t-shirt design or some graphics for advertising or the website. It's a nice skill to have. All right, so we're doing over the tickets. So the ticket sales are doing great. So let's go to speakers. All right, Paul Krizak, is that correct?
Yeah, I've been corresponding through, text and such. So I actually don't know proper pronunciations at this point. I'll have to get that worked out. So yeah, he's got a good segment. You can read the text there. Do you know details on this segment?
No, you set that one up. Micki handles the speakers. I have worked with some of them in some other respects, but passed over this whole speaker setup to her.
And then the next one we all know, Tom Cherry Holmes.
Yeah, Thomas Cherry Holmes. We're going to be doing updates on the FujiNet. He's constantly working on different machines, and going from one machine to another. It's just great. It's great what he's doing there.
Oh yeah. Just to say, Paul, and I brought it up here. He's talking about designing and construction of a wire-wrapped Odyssey computer. Discrete components. CPU, doing a video card and so forth. So another example of people building old technology, or at least remnants of it, in the new era.
Yeah, that's very old. Wire wrap. Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that in like our museum with the different older machines. I'm like, wow, that's just like, I don't know how, if there was a problem, how you figure out what's wrong with it with all those wires. Interesting. But that's kind of a fun idea. Sean Harrington, we talked about, he's developing a modern retro computer. You said that's an oxymoron. Modern retro. Good. Yes. Porting Backbit OS to 32 systems.
Yeah, he's going to talk about the Backbit system and how she had to learn 32 different coding languages to go and make it work across the different systems.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd be pulling my hair out.
I mean, that's like a challenge and crazy, but it's could be also kind of fun too. Just like to say, yeah, I know 32 different systems. Wow. Very interesting. So that'll be interesting talk, because I'd be curious to know if she used some sort of modern cross development platform, or
Right.
a lot of people use modern computers to do the development, and then they save the code through an emulator, and then so that would be interesting to see that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's got a really nice product. It's you can compare it to FujiNet, or compare FujiNet to hers, where instead of a different device for each computer, she's got like a main component that does the heavy work, and then just that last mile connection to the particular device. And that's where I believe, I'll have to watch, but I believe that's where she had to deal with the 32 different systems and making that last mile connection per se work with her device. So
Very interesting. Just gonna quickly see if there's comments here. Someone was asking about connections. I guess that's for like connections between Los Angeles Union Station and the hotel. Is there anything special people need to know about, like coming from the train or public transportation? Is it a good spot there?
Yeah, there's actually an ARTIC, I think, Arctic station that's maybe a mile and a half from the venue. And I believe that connects out to the Inland Empire and also up to LA. I don't know about public transit from there to the hotel, maybe Lyft or something like that.
Yeah, don't look at me.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know where anything is in California. I've only been here 8 years. So
yeah, and we're right next to, so the hotel is located right near what we call the Orange Crush, and it's where 3 freeways come together. Right there is also Angel Stadium, and then the it used to be called the Pond. I don't know what it's called. It's another stadium where the Anaheim Ducks are, and then Disneyland is 3 miles away. So it's very central. Southern California is very car centric, and I'm a car owner, so that's my forte. But from what I understand, the Arctic Station is right there, and that should be a quick trip.
that's at the Angel Stadium, right?
It's right adjacent
Yeah.
to Angel Stadium.
It's
yeah. It's like a
shell
big
looking,
shell,
yeah.
clam shell. It's multicolored. Yeah, it's fun.
I'm learning.
Yeah, someone says I think the train comes to Angel Stadium, so it's close by. So
Yeah,
That's it.
all right.
And then of course, there's tons of Ubers and what is it?
Lyft.
Lyft.
Yeah.
I don't use the
Yeah.
other ones. So, but on the venue page, we've got some information, and we should probably put some of the other stuff.
Yeah,
Those are
we
good.
need to do some
Yeah,
research.
we'll put some more. There you go.
And you're too late if you wanted to get the low rate at the hotel. You have to move quickly. But there are other hotels nearby, as you said. But people have to look for themselves, like what's in the area.
Yeah, it's quite possible. I looked at the Farrah Hotel room listings for Saturday, the 17th. It's quite possible that the regular rooms, even though the room rate we had that was special, it ends like a month before, which we've now passed that mark. But even regular rooms, I think, are rather filled up. The hotel has like 400 rooms. I don't know how many at this point that we filled up with attendees and exhibitors, but there's going to be a lot of people in that hotel on the weekend. So it's going to be a lot of fun activity.
Yeah, and there's a hotel across the street. There's an Aries hotel, and then there's a couple others that are about a 15-minute walk from the hotel. So we'll see if we can get those up there to make it easier for folks.
Okay. Let's continue with the speakers. Randy, how do you say Kindig?
Kindig.
Kindig.
Yeah. He's going to talk about upgrades. Go ahead.
Cool. Very cool. Preserving computer history.
Yeah. So Jim worked early on at the Computer Museum of America, and then we talked about Anna, and then Selim is going to join us, and we're going to talk about preserving computing history and what it takes to do that, and how to share it with future generations to make sure that it's preserved, the memory's preserved.
Yeah, that's important, because, people are dying off that were using these machines or programming or part of the history. And I know I talked to someone who does industrial archaeology. Basically, they have to figure out how this device or thing was used, and you can't rely on documentation because the documentation may be like what they wanted it to act like, but that's not actually how it would end up being used for different reasons. So you rather have the people while they're alive to tell you how it was used and what you did, rather than have you find it like this thing and then like, oh, let's try to figure out how it was used or what the history is of it, Yeah. So that's good.
Eric, you can join us there in that conversation if you wanted, Eric.
We'll see. I did want to point out that if you see what Salam put for his title there, he is the founder of this entire concept. The first Vintage Computer Festival was his baby up here in Northern California. Up in actually he was at Moffett Field, where the Computer History Museum had its stuff before they got their building. I don't remember the dates anymore, but I mean, it was late 90s, very early 2000s that first Vintage Computer Festival happened.
Oh, the first first
drawing a blank on the first VCF.
1997.
There you go. Thank you.
Because we just had the 25th anniversary of the festival recently. So so it's 25 years, or no, be past 25 years now. It's like 26. So it's been a while. And there it is available on Wayback Machine to go look at that original.
Yeah, or just check
so-
the chat. He's got us. He's giving us info in there.
Yes. Yeah, there we go. 1997. Yep, that's what I write. So who else we got here? Speakers. One Giant Leap for Video Games. Founder of Tadler Solutions.
Yeah, he's going to talk about the lunar lander, how it was the first. It was early in graphics of video game and actually kind of set the stage for future graphically based video games.
Oh, interesting.
That actually jarred my memory. I remember playing Lunar Lander when it was text-based. Do you remember having to put in the numbers of your how much fuel and so forth, and then it would spit back if you crashed or not?
Oh, I only thing I've played two versions. One on the Apple One, the Mimeo, where you puts text and then you can read the instructions and then it draws like where you are and then it says enter a value between 0 and I think 30, and then after you put that number in, press enter return, then it redraws the screen to where you are, and it does it every time, and you have to wait until the prompt comes up, because if you try to type something before the finishes, you get impatient, then it'll break the basic. And the other version was a graphic version on the Commodore 64. But so you're saying there's one that doesn't even have like where it draws the ASCII characters on the screen?
Right.
You're jarring my memory some more. It probably drew text-based what it looked like, but it had to redraw it every time. You didn't get to see it in real time.
Yeah, so I think the earliest lunar lander, I'm actually selling selling punch paper tape of this one. There were older versions that were on the deck minis and such, but it was ported to early versions of Microsoft Basic or MITS Basic when it was still pre-Microsoft days, and it was pure text. You would tell them how much thrust you wanted to do, and then it would recalculate and tell you on text your speed and altitude, and then you would continue to enter numbers basically, and either you landed or crashed. What I'm sure that this one is probably the vector version or equivalent thereof that made it to the arcades around the same time as Asteroids did. And of course the deck, good Lord, GT40 terminal is kind of the child or grandchild of the original DEC PDP-1 graphic display, which was a repurposed radar tube. And that's depending on how you define first, and everyone always argues about these things, but Space War predates that 72 date by almost a decade, maybe a little bit more than a decade, and was a vector graphic in effect video game with two players fighting it out on screen with their spaceships flying around and shooting at each other. Now the original
bright star in the middle.
Exactly. With or without gravity. The original author, Steve Russell, every time I say that at one of our tours at the museum, he insists that it's not a video game because there's no NTSC video.
Then you have to go back to what is the definition of a video game.
Exactly.
Define that. So yeah.
Anyway, I thought that was a fun little.
Yeah, that is fun. And the last speaker we have on the list is the Cryotron, an almost revolution.
Yeah, so Sean has been up to your VCF West and is an enthusiast for the VCFs. He also does a podcast called Advent of Computing, which is just really, really well done, super informative. And we were able to be on his podcast, and I think just kind of infected him with our enthusiasm, and he decided to come down and speak at ours. So we're super excited to have him down.
So his, I find this interesting. I'm going to be so busy during the show, I'm going to have to watch the recording of his presentation. But we all know the transistor, going from vacuum tubes to transistor, and you never think about this. There were other options other than the transistor to replace vacuum tubes. and one of them was the cryotron, which I'm not familiar with. So I'm very interested in that. Like we could all be running our computers with crons now instead of silicon transistor chips.
Very interesting. So, do you still have room for more speakers, or is it filled up?
We've got a couple more slots. I've got 2 folks that I'm trying to finalize their segment with. And then, you know, if there were folks that we needed to fit in, we could find a way, maybe do something just slightly outside of the exhibition hall hours. So the exhibition hall's open 9 to 6. And that's where we were scheduling the speakers within that.
We're working with like another 5, I think.
I think maybe 3.
3. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Someone had asked, you know, I was just looking through the exhibits, if there was any IBM. I don't see any IBM mini or computers on that list. So,
No, and I think we're a little shy on Apple as well. Just a little. We've got Kyle, but I think that might be the only Apple, and no TI-99s. And
oh no.
Yeah, I don't think so. I looked for it. I posted on the TI-99 Reddit group and said, "Hey guys."
All right. Well, maybe we can get some more exhibitors for that. So,
yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. Anybody listening that wants to show off some TI-99 stuff
or anything, honestly,
you have an exclusive right now.
Exclusive for the exhibiting. All right. So, frequently asked questions. It tells about it. Yeah, there it is on 1997. What can I expect? So do you have a schedule out yet, or is that still in flux right now?
Still in flux. We hammered out a rough schedule. The exhibit hall's open 9 to 6. Saturday and Sunday. And then we've got speakers kind of slotted in. We're hoping to firm that up in the next week and a half or so.
Yeah, so that's definitely because, like, you know, Eric and I know scheduling it's a difficult thing. I mean, you give the exhibitors coming in, you're proving them, and that's a thing in itself. You know, arranging where the exhibitors go, and this one wants to be next to this one next to this power. So that's a thing in itself. But then there's also the scheduling. All right, you know, where's this speaker go, and you know, that's like, you know. When is the schedule going to come out? When are you going to? Well, the schedule comes out when we can figure out. First of all, you know, the speakers are nailed down, and then, like, you know, their preferences. Oh, I don't want to be there early in the morning. I want to be there in the afternoon, or just trying to mix it up, like, so it's like different topics and things like that.
It's harder than figuring out the main table at a wedding.
That's true. I do want to tease a couple things. We have a group that were original programmers for Intellivision. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
We have not firmed them up, so we need to get them firmed up before we really officially announce it. But they're called the Blue Sky Riders, I believe. Rangers, sorry. And so we're going to have a panel. That's probably going to be on Sunday. The other thing that we want to do on Sunday, we're working with the crazy mind of Bill Hurd to see if we could do some sort of game show, a friendly rivalry, maybe Atari versus Commodore, Family Feud style. So we're still working on that. So Sunday is going to be as exciting as Saturday is.
Wow.
Bill's always got at least one good crazy idea for a show. Like it. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, we definitely wanted Bill involved because he's done a number of these, and just I can't imagine, you know, things he'd want to try and, you know, do different, and he's just, you know, he's cool to be around.
So that answers one of the questions. Someone says, well, you have panels on YouTube, so I guess that means what kind of panels are you having? So I guess Bill Hurd is trying to arrange some panels. Are you gonna have any other panels besides what he's working on?
With Bill, we're going to do the game show style segment, and then the 2 panels we have right now are more historical. We don't currently have a YouTube panel, but, you know, we've got a couple more slots if we want to have something like that.
All right. Someone asked about if anybody or they collect vintage magazines.
I see Bill Hurd dunk tank.
What?
It's been on Bill Hurd dunk tank has been nominated.
Oh.
That would be a lot of fun. I don't know if they'll let you into the hall with that, but I mean, it's SoCal. You can do it outside.
Right.
Someone was asking, will we be able to bring things in to trade with vendors? I'm not sure what that means exactly.
I would think that's probably more of a consignment thing versus,
yeah.
you
There'll be consignment where you bring in the item, and we log it into the system, and then you go enjoy the show, and we'll sell it, and take a percentage of that. How consignment works. So that's essentially what I guess answered that question.
And probably in the next week and a half or two, we'll put more information on our website about consignment. What our intentions are, what the fee will be, and we'll have a form to have stuff, kind of preset into consignment, get the information filled out so that it's more streamlined that weekend to get stuff onto the consignment tables.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to do a plug for you, but also a plug for me, because I know one of the things that really makes these shows hum are the volunteers that come in to help out. I mean, you two are putting in amazing hours and doing amazing amounts of work, but once show day comes, even before then, there's just way too much to do.
Yes.
You're going to need people manning the front desk, manning the consignment tables, running mics in the auditorium for speakers, any number of other things, dealing with emergencies as they come up, any electrical problems or whatever else, right?
Electrical problems?
Oh my God, I can't tell you how many fuses I've blown at the museum. But the the reality is that volunteers are the heartbeat of these shows. And
yes.
The volunteers have a ton of fun, and of course they get in and get to see the whole show, see whatever talks they want and whatever else, but they also get to help out and be part of the event.
Right.
I'm assuming that you guys have open volunteers. You're looking for volunteers, an open volunteering form or something. I know I'm always looking for volunteers. Always.
Yeah, that's correct. I've exhausted my family. They're all enrolled to help. But yeah, we definitely, I want to put together a schedule so that I can work better with somebody that wants to volunteer, be less vague and give them specific times that we need folks. So, but yes, it's definitely helpful, essential. Volunteers.
So do you have a way that people can sign up or let you know that they want to volunteer?
Probably the best way is to email showrunner@vcfsocal.com. We don't have a form on the site right now for volunteers.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you guys are still working on it. I know definitely Eric and I are like, hey, we know that we need volunteers and we're going to keep asking for them. And for me, it's like planning for the show, set up for the show, during the show, and breakdown at the end of the show. So like always needed. So we have about 7 minutes left. Any last words, anything else you want to say about the show that's coming up on February 17th and 18th?
We've got a few more ideas that we're trying to prioritize and see what's feasible for some interactive events, maybe in the foyer, possibly meetups. So if there's a specific commonality, maybe it's folks that are into Atari or folks that are also ham radio operators or something like that, we would have a designated area that they can converge and exchange numbers and get to know each other, do a little mixer for that.
I'll tell Bill about that Atari meetup.
Right. Yeah. We were thinking about maybe like on the Peanuts, the Doctor is in, maybe like an Ask an Expert booth, where we could have someone on man every hour and you could go ask them questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole list. I've got a very long list of crazy ideas and we'll see what we get done.
Well, this is great because like you guys are doing some things that we either want to do or didn't think about. So that's good. So we can learn stuff from you guys too.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, definitely.
No, we're totally leaning on what the other VCFs have done. Every show that we've been to has been fantastic. And so we are openly stealing their concepts. So we will happily share back anything that we dream up on our own.
One of the things we're doing is, we keep mentioning the show on Saturday and Sunday, the 17th and 18th. But on Friday afternoon is load-in for exhibitors and vendors. And after load-in is done, we're having a private party in the foyer and the grand ballroom just for exhibitors, vendors, and VIPs and speakers. There's no attendee tickets sold for that, because one of the things we learned exhibiting at these shows is you never get to see everything. And the weekend just goes by. And then there's tons of attendees, which you want, but the room's just full of lots and lots of people on the show days. So Friday evening we're having a small welcome party for all the exhibitors, vendors, VIP speakers, and it's just going to be those dozens of people in the foyer and the grand ballroom, talking, meeting people, enjoying some drinks from the cash bar, and you're checking out the exhibits that, exhibitors checking out exhibitors' exhibits. So giving the exhibitors a chance to actually go around and see everything, before the show starts the next morning.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we sort of do it on Saturday nights. So after it closes to the public, we let the exhibitors go around and talk to each other, and they mingle around and go out to dinner, come back, and then close it down at like 11 o'clock or something. So that's what we did. But it's still a good idea. It's exactly what you've noticed, like where people have a need. Eric, do you have any questions or thoughts on anything? Okay.
Nope, I think they're doing an amazing job. Everything I've seen so far is stellar. I'm excited.
Yes.
Good.
All right. So anything else you want to say, or if not, we'll end it.
I'm looking at the questions here. Salam asked about possibly contingencies for major earthquake. I think that party in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you just bring it outside here.
Well, speaking of party, it looks like after the show on Saturday ends at 6, there's going to be a lot of people staying at the hotel. A lot of people that are still in the area, and we're taking over the hotel lobby and bar area. There's a nice outdoor patio area, the indoor lobby, couches, lots of outlets to plug in your Doom devices, and we're taking over that lobby in the hotel. So it's going to be a nice carryover party. I mean, it's got to be 200, 300 seats between the bar,
the lobby and the
eating,
outdoor. Yeah. They've got like a fountain and fire pits and stuff. It's very, very nice.
Yeah. So the fest may end that day at 6 p.m., but the party's going to keep on going on in the hotel. I'm going to have to set an alarm to go to bed so I can get up the next morning. But
there's that too, as the showrunner. Oh my goodness, you don't get a lot of sleep.
Yeah.
Nope.
You're on adrenaline, and you're like, but somehow you could, go to sleep and then pop up at like whatever in the 4 or 5 in the morning, and like, all right, gotta get ready and going.
I'll be running on all 6502 registers.
All right, so I think you guys have to get going to your next appointment, but I'm glad that you guys have things moving along smoothly, and it looks like it's going to be a great and fun show there. Eric and I definitely can see that you guys have it together and know what you're doing, and it's going to be a great, fun show, and everybody should get tickets now. Get their tickets now.
Yes.
Well, and I just want to again thank you guys for your support. We have the VC Fed backing us, and I honestly it wouldn't be what it's going to be without that. So
if we weren't tied with you guys doing the VC Fed, if we were like, let's just do a retro show, it would not be this far. I mean, the name recognition, just what you guys have, we're standing on your shoulders.
Yeah,
and
there's
so
a
people
standard
know
that people expect.
And we're that's one of the driving forces, is to meet that standard you guys have set. So when people show up, they know what to expect.
Yeah.
Well, that's our goal with the Federation, is to be an umbrella group for all of these events worldwide.
Yes.
Awesome.
Well, if I can put a plug in, as Jeff just mentioned, we do have another interview. It turns out it's a live stream in about a half an hour. So if you go to VCFSoCal.com, at the top, we have a list of interviews in the media. And so in about a half an hour, we'll be live on the Retro Repair Roundup live stream. So
if you didn't get enough VCF SoCal,
come on over to that one too.
Excellent.
All right, sounds wonderful. All right,
Well, thanks a lot, guys.
you're very, very welcome. Very welcome. We're glad to help out, and wish you the best success in your show there.
Mhm.
All right,
you.
so we're
And
gonna
congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna end it and see everybody next time.
Ciao.
Take care.
The stream